Hi. Don't do that. You can edit this out, can't you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Ready? Three, two, one, go.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm super excited to be here today, and it's my absolute honor to introduce Dr. David Orman. And we are just going to be kind of discussing his brand new course, which is the Bagua Life Transformation System. And so I personally would like to know, please tell me, what exactly does that mean? I'm familiar with Bagua and the term and it as a martial art, but what does it mean when you've tagged onto there the life transformation
Mhm.
system?
Well, let me back up a little bit if I may. Tell you my
Yeah.
story and that which led up to the Bagua. I started martial arts in 1985. Yes, you're hearing that correctly. And it was always the hard styles, the karate. This was back in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And I remember one class we were doing our usual hard contact Okinawan style, and there were two women and a teacher in the back doing this slow thing. I'm thinking, what is that? That looks so strange because I had never heard of. In this case, it was Tai Chi, and I thought, I don't know about that thing. And all I remember hearing the teachers go slower, go slower, go slower, and it was driving me nuts because he kept saying that because we were trying to go faster. Mind you, I'm all of, I don't know, 19 years old or something like that. Going slowly, not really in my vocabulary. And as years went on, I went to acupuncture school, of course, in San Diego. And I remember I was I was going on an accelerated program as well as not knowing anyone for 3,000 miles. I had just moved there and I was working full time and I was the editor for the California Acupuncture Association Journal. So time was at a premium. I had to study. The hardest part was, grocery shopping and stuff. Anyway, after about 2.5 years, I was starting to get a little fried, and I was there was a particular person there. His first name was Ted, and he was a Taoist priest as well as a psychologist. And he comes up to me, and he was also the Tai Chi teacher who I'd taken a class from. It was a requirement that I did not want to do, but I ended up liking him. And he said to me, he said, you don't look like yourself, da da da. So I told him, I said, I'm struggling here quite a bit. I have stuff going on with work, stuff going on in school. This has been a really big drain, da 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 da. And he looks at me, and I'm waiting for this grandiose answer. And he looks at me and he goes, well, keep practicing the form. And he walks away. I was angry. Truth be told, the smoke was coming out of my ears. I thought, he asked me, and this is the blow off answer I get from somebody who's supposed to be compassionate psychology Taoist priest guy. And I thought, I'm not doing it. And after about 2 or 3 days, I thought, well, all right, I'll do it, but I'm going to do it just because I want to do it. And so I did it for a day and then two and then three and four and five. And after about 5 days, something started changing. And it didn't necessarily change on the outside, it changed on the inside. I felt calmer. I felt more energy. I felt more focused. I felt life slowed down, even though nothing had changed on the outside. After about another week or so, things started changing on the outside. And there's a principle that not only in Bagua, but in Taoism, where all this stuff comes from, acupuncture, that type of martial art, Qigong, etc., that it's microcosm, macrocosm. What happens on the outside happens on the inside. What happens on the inside happens on the outside. And so the biggest challenge is to change things on the inside. And when you do, that's when the outside will reflect it. And it started to reflect. People were kinder to me. The classes got easier for me. Everything fell into place. I was getting a little extra work here and there to help pay for my expenses, which were uh, that was a challenge as well. People invited me for dinner, which that was an interesting experience because I thought I didn't know anyone in the building. I was only 28, 29 at a time. The average person there was probably in their 60s or 70s. And so I was never home because I was always going to school and work. So I rarely, I mean, I was, hello, how are you? But I didn't even think anybody knew my name. And after about a month, I sheepishly walked up to Ted and I said, Ted, I got to tell you, things have dramatically changed and I appreciate it. But I also have to tell you, I wasn't really happy with your answer in the beginning. And he just laughed. He goes, yeah, I know. My teacher did the same thing to me. And I started down that avenue and end up meeting a wonderful person that was to be my teacher for the next 30 plus years until he passed away from the UK. And that's when I started getting introduced to more of the Qigong and then Bagua. As soon as he showed Bagua, I fell in love with that. I thought this is perfect because it was a little bit more challenging. It was a little bit more physical, but more importantly, I was getting more results from it. And instead of you can do the whole form or you can do certain sections of it depending on what's going on in life. And it had such deep, deep meaning within the movements that I couldn't get enough of it. Bagua, and I only knew before hearing it, I had heard the word and I had seen a little bit on shows. And Bagua I knew as a what they call a Budo, which is the martial art, the fighting aspect of it. And I never realized that's only a portion of it. The other part of it is the personal development part of it. And that was the part I was interested because I had already found found my niche in the self-protection, let's say, portion, and didn't want to learn it for that. But it became a form of moving meditation. It became therapy. It still is therapy, and it is remarkable. In fact, just yet today is Friday. Yesterday, Thursday, at my acupuncture clinic, we had one of our lovely people who works there. She has been struggling with panic attacks, and I said to her, "I said, come here, come here." So we went in this one room in the back where we do our podcast, and I said, "Here's the movement I want you to do." It was specifically for the heart, and we're going to go in a counterclockwise direction. And as you do, try to experience a panic attack. And she said, "Oh, no, no, no." I said, "Trust me on this one. We're going to go very slowly. If you need to step out of the circle, no problem." So she went about 3 or 4 rounds and kind of stopped and had this weird look on her face. I said, something the matter?" She goes, "Yeah, I don't feel anything." I said, "When you don't say you don't feel anything, what exactly do you mean by that?" "Meaning I don't feel anything, meaning I feel normal. This panic attack thing, I can't get it back." That's the type of power it has. Uh, and it's
My,
simple. Oh, I'm
oh,
sorry.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. It's
Go
and it's
ahead.
relatively easy to do and easy to learn, which is the great part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just sitting here as just taking all this information, and the first thing that I want to know is how does one that doesn't have a martial arts background, how is it easy for them to step in and learn something like this? Or do they need to have any type of a martial arts background coming into it? Will they feel when they step into it like, oh, wait, I'm not familiar with this? Like, I'm not sure what type of knowledge or information they would need prior to stepping into learning this.
If you were teaching it as a martial art, we would have a totally different conversation. But this is for personal development. This would be similar to somewhere between meditation, almost prayer in a strange sort of way, and personal psychology slash self-development. So they don't need to do anything. We've had people who now at the clinic that I work on with. We have people, ranging anywhere from their 20s to in their 80s. Actually, one of my patients is 92, and a lot of them are veterans. So they've had injuries, they've had PTSD, they've had issues that the human, they've seen things that the human psyche has is not meant to see, and so they struggle a lot. And some people, they have a hard time walking, yet alone doing anything, and they can learn this because it's not about the martial art aspect. The martial art aspect, I've taken everything away from that. And how do I become a better person? How do I have a tool or tools that I can use to help resolve the issues that I am struggling with? Oh, here we go. It's a movement thing. One of my, I've never met him in person, but somehow we've become friends. Yeah, he's in San Diego, also named David. He talks about when you can engage the body, you engage the psyche. And that always stuck with me. He's been saying that for years. And I thought, yeah, when you engage the body, you engage the psyche. So even from an acupuncture perspective, if you think of emotions of pain, whether that be my ankle hurts or my back hurts, or I'm depressed or anxious, or boy, I'm really struggling with what do I want to do in life. If you think of that as energy, and just for simplicity's sake, we'll call it red energy, a red ball, a red circle. And if you think the red circle happens to be located right here. You could feel it in the, and Joe Smith over here can feel it in his chest. And maybe Mary Smith feels it in her solar plexus. And maybe the third person, they kind of feel it all over. And it's that stuck movement. It's erase that. It's that stuck energy that is causing the problem. So when you could get it to move, we hate lakes, we love rivers. When you can turn that energy into a river by the way I teach the breathing, the way I teach the movement, and the acupuncture points that you act as if you are breathing through, you can get dramatic changes because you get movement within the body. When you get movement, you're kicking the body's natural ability to heal itself into gear. And so the movement is the catalyst for the innate skill, that innate gift that everybody has to help heal themselves. And sometimes you hear that say, well, I don't have that. Really? You got a cut. What did you do with it? Nothing. Where is it? Oh, it healed. Did you do that? No, we all have that. I consider it a gift within us. It's just tapping into it. And number two, and maybe more importantly, clearing the static that's blocking it. And that's really what, especially half this form does. Half the form does the clearing, half the form does the adding. And that's where you get a balance to it.
So I love this, and my intellect immediately goes to conversations that I have with many people out in the world
Mhm.
about anything alternative. And we live in a very Western type of paradigm, typically, where there's this prescriptive thing, right? Where, oh, I've got a headache, therefore I do this, or I've got anxiety, therefore I take that. It sounds to me what you're describing is this would be for anyone with it. It's basically whatever it is that you might be struggling with, you're bringing it into the practice. So it's the whole body, mind, spirit is coming in, and you're working on your own individual transformation of the energetic blocks, whatever, regardless of that. So it's not like, oh,
Yeah.
this is great for, I'm going to make something up, arthritis, or this is great. It's great for everything because what it is moving the energy based on what the individual is bringing to the practice, if I'm understanding this from what your description is. I'm
Uh,
trying to put it in words
yes,
that
I
anyone
understand.
will be able to kind of wrap their head around.
When I was in high school and in college, I played baseball. One of the coaches would always say, leave your problems off the field.
Mm.
And in some martial arts that I took, particularly the harder kind, it's you leave your problems, once you step on the mats, your problems, you leave it behind. This is exactly the opposite. Bring every single problem, every single issue, every single concern, every single desire, every single wish. Bring it all with you because it is energetically, it's a part of you. And if it is transformed through movement, through breathing, through focus, healing can occur, manifestation can occur, things along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned things like arthritis. So people may say, but I can't do the movement exactly. You're not being judged, number one. We're not competing at the World Championship of Bagua. I don't even know if there is one. You're doing it for you. You're doing it for yourself. You're doing it the way that you need to do it. And as I mentioned before, this comes from the philosophy of Taoism. And Taoism loosely translates as the way, which is very misleading because it implies as if there is a single way. But in fact, there is your way, there is my way, there are whatever, 8 billion people on the planet, there are 8 billion ways. And if one of us tries to duplicate another, it's a disaster. That's why, follow my system. No, your system works for you. That's why it doesn't work for most other people. And so this helps you follow or helps you create your style. So if, I don't know if you can see it on the screen, and I'm going to exaggerate. If I can't do this, straight arm out, and this is what you do, guess what? This is your movement. Let me rephrase that. This is your movement, and it becomes your bagua when I did Aikido for 9, 10 years or something total. And one of the things that I will always remember that take away from it, the founder's name was Morihei Ueshiba, and they referred to him as O Sensei, which is a great teacher. And somebody, I don't remember from where, thousands of miles away, came to train with him, and he said, the visitor came, said, "Oh, Sensei, I came to train in your Aikido." And O Sensei's response was, "That's funny. Everybody's trying to learn their own Aikido." And this would be identical. It's not going, it's roughly going to look like everybody else, but you're going to create some nuances to it. You're going to create a rhythm to it based on what you need that day. So on a Monday in, January 1st, your Bagua looks like this. And on I don't know, 4th of July, it's going to look a little bit differently because on January 1st, you were filled with hope and we're all excited. So you wanted to express that aspect of it. I'm making this up, obviously. On 4th of July, you just had a rough week. And so there were wounds that needed to be tended to. So your bagua would be softer, it would be quieter, it would be less dynamic, less dramatic, because you need more yin energy, more calming, more soothing. It's like the puppy that needs to be pet, not January 1st, you needed to throw the ball and roughhouse a little bit. And 4th of July, you needed to be say, come here, buddy. Well, it's okay. It's okay. Because we all have, kind of extremes during the course of during the course of a day half the time, yet alone a year, certainly a lifetime. So this is your therapy that you have in your back pocket always. And the best part about it is the answers that you get are for you and no one else. And they come from you and you can always trust them because they're your answers.
Beautiful. Where can individuals go to find the course and or find out more about you and your background?
Sure. There'll be a couple of links below. Um, there'll be information about the course. I also included another video and some extra bonuses for it. And if anybody wants to find out about my background, they can always go to davidorman.com and look under the About Me. And there's a long laundry list of stuff you could read. Yeah.
Fantastic. Wow. This is really, really awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to just share so much about you, your introduction to this unique thing, and then how you've actually taken it and actually brought it to a whole new way for new people to be introduced to it and kind of everyone to step in and make it their own. That's a really, really spectacular thing to do.
Yeah, I have the structure and I left enough blanks open for anyone to fill in. And you can always fill it in with pencil because you could always erase it depending on what you need for the day, what you need for the week, what you need for the moment. Yeah,
Wonderful. Thank you
good.
so much. Is there
Thank you
any,
as well.
yeah, anything else you'd like to share before we sign off for today?
You'll find the movements are quite easy to do. And if for any reason you can't do it, you can always adjust. And if you ever have questions, if you ever have, I can't seem to get this, I will address every single one of them. I don't care if there are 1,000 of them. It may take me a little while, but I will address them. And also, some of the elements you can use, when you're walking with your spouse, when you're taking a dog for a walk, you can take portions of it, and something as simple, something a daily occurrence like a dog walk, you can even turn that into something of even greater value, not only for the puppy but for yourself.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. This has
My
been
pleasure.
wonderful.
Thank you.
My name is Lisa Lytle once again, and it's just my absolute pleasure to be here today with Dr. David Orman. Thank you so much for those of you that have stayed here and listened to this information. And I know that Dr. David Orman would be thrilled to hear from you and really wants to hear when you get the course, what your results are and how you feel about it. And if you do have questions, all of the links will be below. So please be sure to reach out to him.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.